Hey guys, it's Jerry here. Okay, I'm doing a video because I am interested in doing my first movie review. And let's see, the movie that I'm going to talk to you guys about is actually two films. It's kind of like the first part, second part, first part, then the sequel. The film is called Contracted and Contracted Phase 2. So, these two movies seem like they are for people who are fans of thrillers and who are fans of horror. I myself am a fan of both of the films. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little story about how I came across the film. I didn't really know about It's not really like a big major film, something that you'll see in the movie theater. This movie is very independent. It's an independent film, just like any other independent horror films I've seen. Lots of them in the past growing up. So it wasn't really, like a mega big movie. For anyone that's an independent fan, that is considered good. So for me, how I came across at the time when the first film was made, I was actually looking for movies, like horror films on Amazon. Because I look for all kinds of stuff because it's zombies and ghosts and all that shit. So, I came across the film and I was very curious about it, but at the time I didn't get it because I was like a little nervous saying what kind of stuff is in this film because they were showing a film where the girl's face was literally fucked up. I didn't know it was something to do with aliens or anything for that matter. Because I despise films like Species and Aliens. I would never see that. I don't care what, some people think of me, but some of that stuff is just gross. So I would not see that. But for my curiosity, I didn't really look at any reviews on YouTube about the film. I checked out the trailer. And the trailer was like a little bit gross. So I was saying, I shouldn't take no chance on this film. Okay. So 3 months ago, I got Netflix, and I see that they have some horror films in there, some really good horror films, and I came across it. So it was actually one night when I was actually working, and I was bored, and I said I want to watch a movie or whatever. So I ended up watching the film, and it wasn't really that bad. It was something like completely different for me out of the norm. Out of the norm of anything. It's something new because it involves catching, something through like an STD. And according to reviews, it was saying something about like seeing this film makes you think twice before having unprotected sex with a person. And I kind of got like a little feel is that's exactly what they mean because I remember that in the trailer, like you have to think twice about having sex again. And once you see this film, you'll actually, get my gist on exactly why that reviewer has said that. Because it was a little bit, I'm going to give you a little bit of the storyline of the first film. The storyline of the film is about this young girl named Samantha. And in the movie, it's like she was really bummed about her girlfriend not showing up to this party because she really liked this girl. She was in a lesbian relationship with this girl. I believe her name was Nikki in the film. And the girl wouldn't give her no time of day. She didn't really understand. She was really frustrated. So she ended up meeting this guy. And from there, they ended up having a one night stand in the car. Like they ended up having sex in the car. So after doing that time, she sensed that something was not right. Like all these kind of things started happening to her body. One of the things that I don't want to give you the details about it because I read the books of her spoils, and I don't want you to spoil about it. But I'm just gonna say her body changes after the sexual encounter. She starts deteriorating, literally. I would say it like that, and at the end, she ended up affecting a guy that really liked her at the time, and really liked her in the film, and his story like eventually follows into the second film, but I'm not gonna talk about that. So in the end, she ended up like seeing her fate. She ended up like going on this killing spree, killing all these people left and right, and ended up turning into something bad, very bad. So the movie cuts off from there. So after, like I said, after I reviewed it, I liked it because it was something different about, literally like catching like a monstrous virus to a STD. I mean, that's something very different, because usually you hear about either people killing or ghost huntings or all that usual kind of stuff that you hear during horror films. But this is something completely different. It's something that I wouldn't mind like seeing in future films, just not something consist of anything alien. I would not see that at all. So, and what I dislike about the film is like the way it was kind of gross, like, with the bugs and with the urination of blood and the leakage of blood and the vomiting. I can't stand looking at vomiting. But other than that, the movie wasn't really, that bad. It was really good. I actually saw it like 2 or 3 times. They had some funny parts in there, especially when she was trying to confront her mother, who didn't really quite understand her or anything like that. Yeah, but the movie wasn't really that bad. So let's see. Last night I ended up seeing the sequel to the film, the events that happened after the Samantha had turned. So in the beginning of the film, it started with Samantha turning. So she had turned into this major zombie, and she ended up charging at her mother and biting a chunk hole over her neck. And they ended up shooting her. So from there, the story pretty much follows this guy. I'm trying to think of his name. What's his name? I'm not really sure his name. I know the character is played by Matt Mercer. So I'm trying to figure out what his name was. I don't know why his name won't come up. Because I'm trying to review and his name won't come up. I believe his name is Eddie, or... No, it's not Eddie. Well, anyway, if anybody's curious about this film, then they will understand, because I actually just saw it last night. So it's kind of fresh in my head, so I apologize. I don't know the guy's name. But in the film, he ended up picking up the virus because Samantha ended up having sex with him in the first film. So he contracted the virus. So again, on his part, his skin starts to deteriorate, and his eyes started to bloodshot. He started vomiting up blood and worms and all that shit, and peeing and urinating blood. So in the film, he knows that something is not right with him, and a little bit that he's not letting the cops know, because they actually have like a detective that's like basically keeping an eye on him, is that he actually saw how the incident occurred. He actually saw how Samantha got affected, which at the time he didn't know she was affected. He just remember her being in the car with this weird guy, the guy that gave her the infection. So he tries to come down, go to a solution, try to find this guy and stop him before this stuff is spreading. And he knows that, the stuff is really spreading in the film. Like, they show other people are sick, including this girl that had liked him. She ended up affecting him. He ended up affecting her just by her giving him a kiss on the lips. So in the end of the film, he ended up going through like the same fate. He ended up getting killed. And from there, he turned to a zombie. Then he ended up getting shot. And I'm not going to spoil. They have like two parts at the end of the credits that I don't want to spoil. But I can tell you that it possibly would be another contracted film. It'd probably be called Contracted Phase 3. So I'm not sure if they're working on that right now. I don't even know. I was like very anxious after I saw the second film. And I Googled it, but I haven't seen, any information. I'm thinking maybe, one of the review channels will have it and I have a chance to see the next part of the film because I'm very curious about what happens. So that's pretty much my take on the two films. What I like about the film is pretty much like the same thing as I would say about the first film. It wasn't really that bad. What I disliked was the vomiting and the blood and all that. It's like it wasn't really that gruesome. They just took it up like a little bit of a notch, but overall, the two films weren't really that bad. I again, like I said, would recommend this movie to be for mature audiences only. No kids not allowed to watch this. If you're a good parent, do not let your child watch those films or any other horror film that'll scar them for life. But this film is like basically for mature audiences, people who are a big horror fan or a big thriller fan. So, I think that's about it. I couldn't. I'm sorry that the review seemed like I'm being fresh on this. So, again, I'm just trying to give like my take on it. So, yeah, I think that's about it that I wanted to say. If you guys get a chance to take a look at this video, or if you consider actually looking at the film, just let me know how you like it. If you love it, or if you hate it, or are you curious to see the next film, or whatever. And also, the two films are actually right now on Netflix. You can actually get a chance to go to Netflix or download the Netflix app and Google them, search for them, and they'll come up like none. Like the first one will come up, and then the second, and they just released the second film. So that's about it, guys. And also make sure to subscribe to my channel if you like my videos. I will hopefully look for more films that I want to do a review on, and I'll see you guys next time.